off and running on a Tuesday. It's the 26th of August. Welcome inside the vault for a Ravens lunch hour live stream. I'm Bobby Trossett. This is Sarah Ellison, and today is roster cutdown day. So from 90 to 53, partner, it is official. Special shout out to Jason Smith from Huddle It Up Films for joining you yesterday. I was on my way back from some West Coast travel that I think some of you were privy to in the Instagram space, and of course learning about it last week when I was live from Las Vegas. But awesome stuff. Man, that dude just gets it and lives it and probably breathes it and sleeps it. And he doesn't sleep much, though, which is probably the reason why he's up grinding tape. So special shout out to Jason Smith. Go check out that episode from yesterday. And Sarah, as we know, under 4 hours from right now, 3 hours and 50 minutes exactly, these teams, these 32 teams, have to trim their rosters from 90 to 53. Now, last year, you guys might remember, the team that we cover on a daily basis did not actually release the 53-man roster until after 8 o'clock Eastern. Hopefully that's an aberration. I know you in our pre-show meeting said as much, but we'll have to be on the lookout later on tonight from gamemanship standpoint. What's their strategizing? When are they going to release this thing? I'm sure a lot of it has to do with waiver claims and practice squads forming and everything like that. But over the next 24 hours, it's going to be heavily roster induced.
Yeah, I didn't even know that was legal, that you could wait till 8 o'clock. Like, I was just like, please give us the roster so we can move on with our evenings and whatnot. But Bobby, it's good to have you back. I'm glad you're back from the West Coast. What's funny is, like, we really haven't even been apart for very long. Have you ever hit a point in a friendship that you see them and talk to them so often that, like, we went 3 days without talking because it was the weekend and then you weren't back yesterday? So when we had our pre-show meeting, I was like, oh, my old friend is back. It was weird to not talk to you for 3 straight days, and I missed you. So I'm so happy you're back.
Feelings mutual. I think you add on top of that, when we don't do our post-show meetings, which can range anywhere between like 90 seconds and 90 minutes. Right. We didn't have one on Friday because I was in Vegas and you were running around with the kids. So you add that into the equation, and it does feel like it's been a long time. But needless to say, great to be back with you. Preseason is now in the rear view, obviously. And so this is going to be heavily 53-man roster incorporated over the next couple of days. But we got a lot to discuss leading up to that later this afternoon, too. So what do we got for our rundown coming up? AFC North has been busy. Speaking of moves, they've been busy.
They have been busy. We're going to get into that. But there's one other thing I wanted to announce to the live chat. I added over the weekend 2 more emojis. Okay. Bobby didn't know I did this. I added an emoji for you that I think speaks to you and an emoji that speaks to me. The emoji for you, I added a meatloaf emoji. So that when we get that $50 crimson red or whatever it is, magenta super chat, and you say Ma the meatloaf, then the chat can go off with the meatloaves. I added for me in one of my sayings an emoji that says woof. It looks like that 100 emoji, 100. It's kind of like in that kind of style where it's red and has that kind of font. I have a woof in there. So if I ever say woof, the emojis can go off with that. So those are the 2 I added over the weekend. And I'm seeing people use them now. There we go. Yes.
You are hysterical. And it's been a while, maybe, that I'm like, you're listening to you say meatloaf. I'm like, meatloaf. Why is that?
You didn't even know what that meant?
Well, of course, now I do. But at first, I'm like, and why does that tie to me? Yes, of course, meatloaf. It's been a minute since we've had one of our, classic. Crimson. Oh, yeah. It's one of our classic, like, circus segments where it just goes off the rails because of you guys and your generosity, whether it's gifts or super chats or everything in between. We already have 6 of them, so we'll be getting to that in just a bit. Well done. Sarah spends her free time, contrary to popular belief, chiming up emojis. I like that.
Listen, emojis, it just makes life better. It just makes communication better. So anyway, on to the rundown. Okay, there have been some ranging from big to medium to kind of smaller moves in the AFC North. And so We're going to discuss those moves and see if they are needle moving, because I think both us and even those that are not Ravens fans, I think most people would say the Ravens are the leaders and kings so far. They're the reigning champions of the AFC North two times in a row. So we're going to discuss if these are needle moving moves. Then we'll get into some notes and news from yesterday's press conference and practice. There is some practice footage of Lamar Jackson, and I'm sure everybody is curious to see how he looks after he missed really just a practice and a half with that foot injury. So lots of news and notes from there. Really some good injury news coming out if John Harbaugh is correct in his projections of when people will be returning. And then finally, we're going to discuss some, as we usually do sometimes towards the end of the show, some national media commentary. And this is one where a couple of guys that we know are admitting that they know that they and others are going to be treating Lamar Jackson unfairly during the season. So we're going to take a look at that.
And while doing all of this, it's obviously that type of day, more so than usual, where we'll both be kind of panning at times to the timelines to make sure that we're up to date with what's happening roster-wise, because some leaks tend to come out or just reports come out prior to 4 p.m. Eastern, like an Arthur Maulet, Sarah, who spent the summer with Houston, for example, who has now been released. And there'll be others along the way as well. So all that and more is what we have coming up. Glad you guys can be with us. The emojis are being used like wildfire right now. So good on you, Sarah. And you guys might notice that we're experimenting with a live chat display up on the screen. Let's see how that goes in the coming days. Please like the video on your way in, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and go visit thevaultpod.com/shop to get yourself a little piece of merch for this upcoming season. And partner, we got to begin here. The hold-in is over in Cincinnati. Trey Hendrickson got a nice bump here. Nice $14 million bump. That's a nice raise for the reigning sack getter. That boosts his 2025 salary to $30 million in total. He still is scheduled to become an unrestricted free agent after this season. But being that he was absolutely dominant and a bright spot in what was otherwise not so bright up and down those three levels for Cincinnati's defense last year, this is something that they just had to get done, quite frankly. And now he is here, not for the foreseeable future, but at least for this upcoming season in Cincinnati.
Yeah, so this is one of those deals where it looks like both sides compromised a little bit. Everybody got a little something that they wanted, but certainly not everything that they wanted. So Trey Hendrickson getting, a $14 million raise this year. I mean, that's nice. That, as you said, it brings him to 30, which of course is not anywhere really close to the top guys, especially in the division. TJ Watt averaging $41 million per year. Myles Garrett averaging $40 million per year. And so with Hendrickson, he comes in below the top 5. And this is a guy who I believe has had 18 and a half sacks over the last 2 years. And did he lead the league last year? I believe he led the league last year in sacks. Yep. And so certainly deserving of more, but, did get the $14 million. And then the Bengals get what they want, which is not to have to commit to him long-term with tons and tons and tons of money, the way the Steelers and the Browns have. But you'll have to notice, Bobby, the teams that can pay this quarterback-like money to their top pass rushers don't have quarterbacks. Okay, the Bengals have a quarterback. They're paying him. They have they have the best receiving core in the NFL. So they're paying over there. And so this is a 1-year solution. He will be an unrestricted free agent next year unless the Bengals wanted to tag him. So I guess there could be drama still to come. So let's ask the question we set up top to you. Bringing in Hendrickson, bringing him back, stopping the holdout or the hold in. Is this needle moving in the AFC North?
Needle moving in the AFC North, no. And probably I would even argue it's not needle moving for the Bengals, because last year they weren't able to, even with the NFL's reigning sack getter, they weren't able to overcome the issues that they had really everywhere else in that defense. I know they went and got Shamar Stewart. There's been a lot of drama around him. And as Chris Sims told me when we were in Indianapolis, he was really quick to view him as sort of the guy that doesn't show up on the stat sheet a ton. I'm forgetting what the actual name of the phrase that he gave me, Sarah. Do you remember it off the top of your head? It was like, I'm sure somebody out in the chat can help me out right now, but he referred to him as a F the playoff stat.
Yeah.
F the playoff stat.
Yeah.
And so, you know, from that standpoint, who knows what Shamar ends up for them, but he's a rookie, just like Mike Green is. And until both guys have flashed, maybe not Shamar as much as Mike has in the preseason. So, yeah, I don't think it's needle moving from either way. It's something that had to get done. But when I think of needle moving, it's like, okay, are the Bengals going to be in the postseason now that they brought Trey Hendrickson back? I can't sit here and guarantee that. For which I won't refer to it as needle moving. How about you?
Yeah, no, it's basically having Trey Hendrickson back is a big deal for the Cincinnati Bengals. He's not hurting the Bengals. He's making them better. But he's making them better from, like, without him, maybe they're like number 32 in most statistical defensive categories. But let's look back. He was on the team last year, and here's where they ranked up on the screen. Points per game, they were tied for 25th. Yards per game, 25th. Passing yards per game, 21st. Rushing yards per game, 19th. And so does he like maybe make them better than the 32nd worst? Probably. But the question is, within the AFC North, is it going to make a difference? And I'm not so sure. I think the Ravens actually, even though the Ravens swept the Bengals, even though Lamar Jackson's the one that has a 6-1 record when Joe Burrow is starting for the Bengals, Lamar has owned them. And he has done it in shootouts. And so you tell me, who had more needle-moving changes since the last time they met on defense? And it's the Ravens. It's the Ravens. They are now in the second year with Zach Orr. They bring in a ton of depth at cornerback with Jair Alexander and Chidobe Awuzie and maybe Keon Martin. That's our prediction from yesterday. We'll see. Although he'll be more special teams. I just wanted to give him another shout out. And then, like, you know, you're gonna have the second year of Trenton Simpson. You've got Malachi Starks back there with Kyle Hamilton. And so to me, and then once you hear all the reports coming out of the Ravens practices and the preseason, they're just getting turnovers all over the place. So I don't see how the Bengals, yes, it's nice to have Trey Hendrickson back for sure, but it's the Ravens who made more needle moving signings over the offseason than the Bengals.
Yeah, correct. And as we sort of continue in the division, here's what else is going on. Quarterbacks are on the move, and you just knew this was going to happen, Sarah. I wasn't sure if it was going to be Pickett, but knowing that there were 6 up until this move, count them, 6 total quarterbacks under contract in Cleveland. Well, of course, you're not going to keep every single one of them, and you use 2 draft picks back in April on rookie quarterbacks, so you want to keep them around, barring something that was unforeseen in the preseason. And then you don't know what's going to happen with Deshaun Watson. You've already named Joe Flacco your starter, and Tyler Huntley has been released. So none of that has anything to do with Kenny Pickett. He is being traded to the Raiders. So here you see it. It's a 2026 fifth rounder. Aiden O'Connell has an injury. He's the backup to Geno Smith over in Las Vegas. And so now Kenny's on the move, and Cleveland's trying to figure out what's life look like if Joe Flacco goes down. Is it going to be Dylan Gabriel? Is Deshaun Watson going to come back at some point healthy this season? A lot of dominoes. A lot of dominoes could fall for the Browns at the quarterback position in the coming months.
I think this is a good move for the Browns in that, you know, I remember last year around this time, they were trying to trim down their gazillion quarterbacks that they had then. And can't remember who they were trying to trade. Was Huntley still there at the time? All that kind of stuff. So listen, they knew that they were going to have to trim the quarterback room. And so they end up getting this 5th round pick, which is not nothing. It obviously sounds very little to fans, but to GMs, like this type of stuff is gold. I mean, just think of EDC and him thinking like, ooh, I got a 5th round pick over like one of my 5 quarterbacks, that I wasn't going to be able to keep anyway. So I think for the Browns, they were fortunate that the Raiders, and obviously nobody hopes for injuries or anything like that, but they were fortunate that there became a demand right at the right time where they needed a new backup quarterback, and Kenny Pickett fits the bill. So good for them. They got that extra 5th round pick. But again, does that change anything? No, I'm still predicting the Cleveland Browns to come up 4th in the AFC North.
Yeah. From a needle moving standpoint, it's pretty obvious that this is not needle moving. It's more so the Browns, they're in the division. The quarterbacks have been the talk of this offseason with what they've had in their room. And they go and get a 5th round pick. They're stockpiling for future drafts. In this case, it's a 2026 5th rounder. And all of a sudden, Sarah, Pittsburgh's a guy that was looked at, as somebody that could really sort of take the torch, if you will, from Ben Roethlisberger, has already been on 4 NFL teams. So he's been around.
He's been around. Bobby, how far have we come? Remember, right after the draft, we reached out to beat reporters for each of the AFC North division rivals, and we had Mary Kay Cabot on. And I remember, and because they just had Dylan Gabriel and Shador Sanders, and we asked her, we were like, who's going to start out of these guys? And she's like, neither. It's going to be Kenny Pickett. You remember that? And we were like, oh, Kenny. Okay. How far we have come. And some news that broke right before we started the show. So this is more news from the Browns. They are releasing wide receiver Diontae Johnson, obviously a former Raven last year. And Bobby, so the question here, so as Mike has pointed out, he's the 7-year veteran, was with, I'm trying to think, how many teams has he been with? How many teams has he exchanged? Oh, you have it. I love you.
I'll show you.
How did you have this at your fingertips? How did you know I was going to ask this? You just had it at your fingertips.
You know what? This. How can you not? This is an insane story for Diontae. The amount of transactions, as Tom Pelissero notes, over the last 18 months. Count them. 8 over the last 18 months. Let's go through them. March 12th, 2024. He's traded from Pittsburgh to Carolina. October 29th, 2024. That fall, he was traded from Carolina to Baltimore. December 22nd of 2024. Waived by the Ravens after, remember, not wanting to go into the game, refusing to go into the game, and then later saying it was cold. Whether or not that was said with humor or sarcasm, who knows? Point is, he could have had a major opportunity, especially with Zay going down in the postseason, and it was a wasted opportunity. So that happened in December. Then the next day, on the 23rd, 2 days prior to Christmas, he's claimed by the Texans. Well, remember, Houston and Baltimore played on Christmas Day last year, so we were all wondering, are we going to see them? I don't think he's suited up, if memory serves. Jump forward to January 14th of 2025, less than a month with Houston. He's waived by the Texans to begin the offseason. January 15th, Sarah, he's claimed by the Ravens. This was one of those classic, roster configuration, maybe potentially compensatory pick formulas. Right. Let's see if we get anything out of this. And so he was claimed by the Ravens in later that month. In April, he signs with Cleveland, spent the entire offseason and summer with them, although I don't think he had 100% participation in some of the offseason stuff, kind of leading the Browns to believe, or the Browns fan base, based on what I've read. Is this dude really in? Is he all in? And then, of course, today, he's released by Cleveland. So, 8 transactions to answer your question in the past 18 months for Diontae Johnson.
Sometimes we're lucky when we get second chances and even third chances. So he's at 8, but maybe he's got 9 lives. Maybe he's got 9 lives, which would give him one more. And I don't want to kick him too much while he's down. It's kind of like one of those things you just look back at, and it's like he maybe displayed a little bit more patience, he could be number 3 instead of DeAndre Hopkins right now. You know what I mean? Like when Zay went down, he could have been in the playoffs. Who knows what could have happened if he had just and that's a lesson for me too, right? Just show patience. Just keep working, keep your head down and keep working until things work out. And so instead, yeah, it's 8 transactions in 18 months. And while I wouldn't be the one to give him the 9th chance, just because, we've been burned here, why not always root for a guy? Get your 9th life and maybe figure it out. But I at this point, you have to wonder, is his NFL career essentially over unless a golden opportunity lands in his lap? Like, I just don't know what GM is going to be like, yeah, I'm going to rely on him unless they're in a desperate situation.
Yeah. As much as I want to avoid sounding naive, like suggesting the idea, like I did every other time since he was waived by the Ravens, of like, who would be the next team? How could there be another team that inquires about his services? And then life in the NFL gets tight, right? Sometimes you get desperate. Desperate times call for desperate measures. Cleveland brought him in, and I thought this was interesting before we move on. Zach Jackson covers the Browns for The Athletic, and he tweeted out a couple hours ago, not long after the news hit the timelines, based on what we saw in camp, Diontae Johnson never seemed near the right side of the bubble. And when you can't make this receiving core, you might be out of chances, meaning not a lot of talent, not a lot of depth in Browns land when it comes to their wide receiver room. So could that be the final straw? Or to your point, could there be a 9th and final live out there for Diontae Johnson? We'll have to wait and see.
So Bobby, over on the Rich Eisman show, this is before these moves. They were making their AFC North predictions. We're still in that prediction season. Chris Brockman, that's his name, right?
Correct.
I feel like you've had some exchanges with him.
Chris is very sensitive. He gets a little sensitive, gets a little, when you tweet something out that he says and you transcribe it word for word in the past, he gets upset even though it's word for word. But what are you going to do?
But it's interesting because he has lots of hot takes. And so, like, if you're going to have hot takes, you got to be ready for some return opinion, right? Well, here's another one of his hot takes. Everybody on the Rich Eisen show saw the Ravens winning the division, and then Cleveland Browns losing it. Nobody's doing anything, breaking news there. But in between what's going to go on, and Chris, I thought, had some hot takes that I wanted to respond to.
Jefferson's AFC North predictions for 2025 brings us to Christopher Brockman.
So what we're saying is the AFC North, the Browns and Ravens here are the RSTLNE of the show. Like on Wheel of Fortune.
Okay. I like
those
are
just a given.
Those are the given
and then
consonants
now you
and the one vowel.
Your other
now
ones.
you can pick your other ones. Good one.
So yes, Ravens first.
That makes Del Tufo the Vanna Del Tufo of this? Okay.
I think Ravens are going to go to the Super Bowl this year.
Okay.
And then Cleveland, they're going to be in the top 5 looking for a quarterback next season. Now, I think that only one team from this division makes the playoffs. So my order doesn't really matter much in the grand scheme of things. I think both the Bengals, I have 2. And I'm on record saying the Steelers season is going to be a disaster. I think they're going to be 3. I think the Tomlin streak is over. Rodgers' career is over. And ultimately, the Bengals' defensive issues are going to play out all season long. And no matter how awesome Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase and T. Higgins and Chase Brown are, and they are awesome, it's not going to be enough to get them to the postseason.
So you think it's only one team in the AFC North making the playoffs?
Correct.
You add that as window dressing to your Ravens, Bengals, Steelers, Browns finish.
Yes, sir.
And you think the Steelers season is such a wash that the Tomlin streak is over. Rodgers is definitely one and done. It's his career is finished. And you want to hit the final record? Because it's got to be under 500. 8, 9, 7, and 10?
Yeah. I mean, 6-11, 7-10.
6 and
like
11.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. They've got some talented players on defense.
Ooh, lots of hot takes. There's plenty to choose from. Browns are going to be a top 5 quarter, probably in the draft. Though he thinks they're going to be top 5 in the draft. Ravens going to the Super Bowl, which actually we're going to be talking about that later. There's another section where a few people are predicting them in the Super Bowl. Steelers disaster, 6-11 or 7-10. Rodgers' career is over, and no Bengals to the postseason. You want to address any one of those that stick out to you?
Wow, Chris must be. Typically, he draws the ire of this fan base. Today, they must love the guy. I mean, what a world that would be in the AFC North. By the way, we'd be 2 years removed, if that's the case, 2 years removed from when this team sent 3 of the 4, I believe, were sent to the postseason, and all 4 were 500 or better.
Right.
So that'd be a heck of a turnaround in a division that is pretty much universally recognized as one of the toughest, if not the toughest, in the entire league. Yeah, that's a little hot for my liking. I do think they're going to have 2 postseason teams.
At least, or just 2? That's your prediction is 2?
I think at least 2, as much as 3. And Rodgers, I could see being one and done. I don't
For
think
sure.
that would be...
Even if he were to go far and they were to go to the playoffs, and I think,
Yep, for sure. I don't think there's anything outlandish about that. Cleveland top 5, that's fine with that.
Yep.
The Bengals not being a postseason team.
And Steelers 6-11 or 7-10.
Yeah, those two trip me up. Everything else is, I thought, fine. How about you?
I guess here's my thing on neither the Steelers or the Bengals making the postseason. I'm curious who he has making it. So did Miami make the playoffs last year?
No.
So Miami, I guess, maybe they could take the spot. I don't see Indy doing it. Jacksonville, Tennessee. Okay, here's where you maybe he's looking at the AFC West potentially having 3 teams. If he really thinks the Steelers are going to be 6-11, because maybe the Chargers and Denver could take Steelers and Bengals spots. But I have a hard time saying neither the Steelers or Bengals will make it.
That's where I struggle. The AFC West there's no question AFC West could send 3, but
I feel like people have been calling on Tomlin to like have his first losing season for years, and I just am not seeing it yet.
Right. And that's where one thing you and I agreed on last week when we had the AFC North conversation. When we had the Pittsburgh conversation.
Yes.
You know, and so to think that they're just gonna all of a sudden plummet like that with the most capable quarterback they have had, in my opinion, since Ben Roethlisberger.
So you think he's a big upgrade? Do you think Aaron Rodgers? Okay, you obviously think Aaron Rodgers is an upgrade over Russell Wilson and Justin Fields. How much of an upgrade do you see Aaron Rodgers over Russell Wilson?
Oh, nothing crazy. I mean, people think that I'm like picking him at the Super Bowl if you watch the live chat. You know, like, come on. I just, like I've said, I think they're going to be a 9, like their ceiling is going to be a 9 or 10 win team.
Yeah. Okay.
So, but yet it's like,
but that's what they did last year.
What were they last year?
Okay, so here they go. Last year they were 10-7. And the Bengals were 9-8.
I could see, how about this then? I could see them in the postseason beating a wild card team.
Oh.
I think they could beat a wild card team. But I don't see them getting past like that 9 or 10 win type thing.
Okay, so with Aaron Rodgers, so last year they were a wild card team and they lost with Russell Wilson. You see them as a wild card team and potentially winning with Aaron Rodgers. That's how much the upgrade is to you. Okay.
And what? Justin had 6 weeks last year, I think. 4-2.
I think I see him around 8-8 again. Not a losing season.
8-8.
I'm so stuck in the 16 game season, like I can't adjust clearly. I'm like, like an 80-year-old that can't like pick up, technology, like just refuses. So I can't transition into the 17 game season, even though we've been here for several years. Okay, so they can't be 8-8. Fine, I guess I'll give them the 9 wins.
Right? It's to me, it's like, what's so outlandish?
They're not winning a playoff game, though. I'm not there with you.
Aside from the Steel, let's see who their opponent is. They're not winning the playoff game if it's against the Ravens. I know that.
Okay. So if Kansas, say either the Ravens or Buffalo or Kansas City has like a bye or something, but they'd play the Chargers or Denver, maybe they play Cincinnati.
That's the realm. If it's the Chargers, if it's the Bengals, if it's the Dolphins, I don't think they're going to be a postseason team. But if it's for whatever reason, if Kansas City's in wild card weekend, if Buffalo, if Baltimore, they're not beating them, obviously. But I don't think any of those teams are going to be in wild card weekend.
Okay. Yeah, I don't see them beating those teams in the playoffs. I just don't.
And to clarify, some of those teams will have to be on wild card weekend, but they won't be playing a seed like the Steelers, because I think they're going to be like around. I could see Pittsburgh being a.
Well, Pittsburgh's going to have to play. If the playoffs go down how we think, they're probably going to have to play either Kansas City or Buffalo or the Ravens. That's what's going to happen.
So you have them at you'd have them at like a 7 seed.
Yeah, they'd be squeaking in.
Yeah. Well,
yeah, because they're not going to play the Chargers or Denver. If it's Chargers and Denver that makes it, they're not going to play either one of those. They're going to play one of the top 3 teams.
Then they're not winning a postseason game if they end up with
that. So I'm glad I brought you around.
but my vision was that they're going to be a little bit high. They'd be playing one of the teams that we just referenced, not the top upper echelon. And if
they would have to though.
As that seed, yes, at that seeding.
Well, how high a seeding are you giving them?
As high as probably. Well, how high can 10 wins get you? Right, there'd have to be a lot of parity in the AFC, which I think that's how the AFC could be, though, since it's such a murderer's row. There's so much parity in the AFC as it is. Right, 10 wins could still get you what, a 5 seed? As high as a 5 seed?
Yeah, I guess. I don't know, bro.
But I'm with you though. If they do end up being a 7 like that, obviously they're going to end up playing one of the upper echelon teams, like the top 3, and there's no way they're going to beat any one of them in the postseason.
No, and that's definitely who they're drawing.
Definitely. My vision was
unless you have a better seed than what I'm thinking. All right, one last piece of note, and then we'll get to Super Chats. This one is an AFC North, but it could affect the Ravens. So many reporters, including Adam Schefter, said the Texans are not activating running back Joe Mixon, former Bengal, by Tuesday's 4 p.m. deadline, making him ineligible to play for at least the first 4 weeks of the season. So the first time he would be eligible is week 5, which is when they play the Ravens. My feeling is he's already missed OTAs and training camp. Even if he comes back in week 5, I just don't see how he could be a big impact during that game. So if he is playing, don't see a big impact, and he may not be playing. So just something for that week 5 matchup.
Right around the corner. Any other AFC moves that need to be discussed prior to Super Chats and a read? I don't think so, right? I mean, there's a number of things that are happening as we speak. Like I mentioned, the Arthur Mollett. He was released by Houston. There have been others out there, but for our purposes of what matters in the division, things that are pressing leading up to 4:00, I think we're relatively caught up. I mean, I don't think too many people maybe care about the fact that James Prochet has been released. All due respect to him. He's still floating around NFL rosters trying to make his way onto 53 men. So
I hope he makes it.
Yeah, me too. Okay. With that,
he's been in the league for quite some time as a 6th rounder, right? Wasn't he a 6th rounder?
He was definitely a day 3 pick, I thought.
Let me look it up.
And has spent a decent amount of time in the division too. So
he was 6th.
He's 6th. Okay. So you had that. Your memory served you there. And then he spent the summer with Tennessee. So that's who he's been released by. And I guess Jeremy Fowler noting that they want him back in the practice squad, but he could get picked up elsewhere. So
but anyway. How many 5th or 6th rounders last 5 years?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So he's made a little career for himself.
That's a good point. Yeah. So I think he's kind of hung around by doing some return stuff. So we'll see if he ends up on Tennessee's practice squad. Maybe he finds his way, into the fray for a game day call up or injuries or anything like that. Just stay available. So I don't know. That was just a very random one that I brought up because I saw it on my timeline. I'm sure there's been others that are more pressing. We'll get to them if we need to at some point throughout the show. All right, let's get caught up on Super Chats. This one came in at 9:00, almost 3 hours prior to the start of our show. And Mike wrote, been listening since day 1. Love you guys. Hard for me to listen during the day, but I'll send love whenever I can, which we really appreciate.
Yeah.
Bobby, what's your top 3 energy drinks?
Oh boy.
Oh, and you had to ask me right in front of Sarah.
These are personal
Remember.
channel questions if he doesn't want to be mocked by me.
And just in case you missed this one when you were in hibernation a week or 2 ago, if those of you that haven't, been listening as often, Sarah and I had a nice little back and forth on her challenging me to go energy drink sober.
Yeah.
Just straight up absolve myself of energy drinks. To be clear, that does insinuate that I may have an addiction, which is not the case.
No. That's not the case.
Which you weren't insinuating, but me talking about it now and they didn't catch it then, right? Some folks would maybe, be led to believe. So I don't have that. I typically will drink it during primetime games. And I think Sarah's point, correct me if I'm wrong, not only is one that is health conscious for me, but also it can be really hard the next day to be a fully functioning member of society. After prime time.
You know how they talk about sugar crashes for little kids?
Yeah.
You definitely have an energy crash for like days. And sometimes it leads to sickness. So that's why I'm specifically giving it to you.
That's what With that said, I love Celsius. On to the next one. Thank you, Mike. And the only reason I drank Ghost was because the promoter goes to Be More Around Town tailgates. That is the only reason why I drink Ghost Energy or drank Ghost Energy, and it is no longer, and I'll never be buying one again. Whoa. Douglas H. Brown Sr., Sarah, chimed in 10 minutes prior to show.
Dang, Douglas got beat today. It's hard to compete with the 9 a.m.
Well, that'll do it when you come in 3 hours early. But DHB Senior Sarah has a $10 super chat. There's a gift underneath it, but here's the super chat for you.
Good morning, Sarah and Bobby. It's an exciting day. It's an exciting day every day, but I'm curious if there's something specific you're referring to, Douglas.
I am as well, aside from 5 new Voltrons becoming channel members. So let us know, DHB Senior. $10 super chat, 5 gift of Voltrons. Appreciate you for continuing to throw out awesome energy for us in this show. Maggie Liz Sarah with a super chat for you.
Excited about the 53-man roster release today. Hope Keon Martin and Jay Higgins make it. We've got an awesome team either way. Purple demon emoji and a heart emoji right next to each other. Hashtag 20-0.
I got to tell you, I'm getting a big kick out of the woof emoji. I think that's rather funny. And the meatloaf is a good one too. So thank you, chat, for making Sarah's work feel validated, right? Over the weekend. That's great. It's Pete06 says, hi, Bobby and Sarah. I was recently ghosted by a girl I called a friend, mostly because I vented to her, and she largely quit putting in effort when I said no to money. I was nothing but kind. Got any advice?
I'm so confused.
Wow. I got a couple follow-ups here.
Yeah, can we get before we? Well, yeah, like I would love to give some thoughts on this, but I don't think I quite understand the situation. So he's okay, so you're ghosted by a girl that he called a friend. So you guys have not crossed the line into anything romantic? Is that what you're implying here? What do you get, Bobby? Is there a romantic element here?
That was one of my follow-ups.
Okay, so that's what we need to know.
Yeah.
And then it's because you vented to her. Was it about her or was it something unrelated? And then she quit putting in effort when he said no to money. What does that mean?
Right.
What do you mean you said no to money?
The third follow-up is what prompted this, how, why, when, and then Sarah,
So the chat is saying he was hoping for it to be romantic. Is that true? Oh, Jason's here. What's up, Huddle? They all call him Huddle, so now I want to call him Huddle.
What's up, dude? But Sarah, I do have to kind of assume that there may have been some feelings here. Now, is that a fair assumption? I don't know, but to me, it doesn't seem that far-fetched to assume that there might have been some feelings here. What say you?
Oh, Tila's saying maybe she asked him for money?
He's following up right now. It was a situationship for a while, so there was something romantic.
So there was something romantic. And
yeah.
And did she ask you for money, Pete? What are we doing here? I don't even know. This is so interesting in the middle of a football show.
Interesting. This is good though.
Did
this
you
is
vent
definitely
to
a
her
one more
about
thing.
asking for money? It seems weird to me. I don't know. Is she in a bad situation where she's like really desperate for money right now? I don't know.
Pete, I think you may have to go cold turkey, my guy. This sounds like a little bit of a cold turkey situation. You know, I need a little bit more context too in some of the money side of things. But
I'll just say this: if she asked for money and he said no, and then she started ghosting her, like,
yeah,
move on.
yeah,
If that's the situation.
interesting.
That's
All
how
right.
I would. Yeah.
Well, more to come here. Thanks for confiding in us and 2,346 other people, Pete.
Yeah.
We wish you the best. Hopefully
You're listening live. I'm sure there'll be thousands later.
Right. Yeah. And Pete, I'm sure there'll be plenty of advice to come in the live chat and whatnot, but hopefully some of which is, or most of which is constructive for you. But interesting. Yeah. Thanks for confiding in us. I don't know if we were helpful, but
Yeah.
Lewis says, for those who took part in the draft last night, GL. For those who took part in the draft last night, GL. Lewis, what draft are you referring to? D-Rod.
They had a fantasy draft, a Voltron's fantasy draft last night.
Oh, did I miss that?
Yeah, he told us about it yesterday.
Okay.
Yeah, me and
Thank you.
Jason. Yep.
D-Rod's in the house for you.
Says, ooh, I love this feature. And then had the purple demon emoji 5 times. Happy Tuesday.
And looking even cleaner than the first time around when we noticed that he updated his profile photo to a Voltron snapback. He's looking clean. And Lewis, sorry that I was not updated on that. I think it's awesome that there's actual Voltron like groups that are completely separate and hang out or chat or at least converse when we're not live. That's a great sign of the community. And here's more information on that from Evan. He says, shout out to everyone who participated in the first annual Voltron Fantasy League. Draft was fully attended and lots of great banter. Lamar went second overall and Henry wasn't too far after. So there you have it. And I have just not been as diligent as I typically am because of my travels in the Discord. So it's great to be caught up on all that. And thanks to everybody that took part in it. It's pretty cool. The Chef 8714 partner for you.
Hey, Vault family. Bobby, can Diontae Johnson help you move to Florida since he's unemployed? Just kicking the man while he's down.
I will have a driver's seat or, a passenger seat vacant. So if Diontae wants to, I think he's from there. So I'm not sure that Cleveland's on my way down to St. Pete. But, Chef's having a little bit of fun with him. JCT Slice says, Sarah and Bobby, y'all be cracking me up when Sarah goes in her, quote, fire in the eyes mode, ripping people, and Bobby just nods and smiles. When was this?
Have I ripped somebody today?
Fire in the eyes. This is good. I don't know what he's.
Well, that emoji, that one emoji, that looks like, I think that's lasers though, right? Is he talking about the emoji?
I don't know.
I love it when the chat is vague and has us like pontificating what they're even saying in the first place.
Right? Yeah. This isn't vague at all. Daryl says you need a 10 toes down emoji for Bobby.
No, I'm not doing that.
Sarah's the emoji.
I mean, creator. I won't stop Bobby from doing it, but I'm definitely not doing it.
Appreciate you, Daryl, because I had a chance to say it. I wish it was Sarah's turn in Super Chats. It just wasn't. Romy Raven, who's also sporting some gear. She's got her hat on as well. Sarah, this one's for you.
Oh, I love that. Nice profile picture. Roger's going to pick a lot of grass out of his teeth. I thought she was going to say face mask, but no, she went for the teeth.
Look, I'm not saying the guy's going to have a clean year in terms of hits and sacks and everything. He's not mobile.
I like how you took that personally.
I just of course I do, because I know it is exactly aimed at me, because God forbid you give a team like Pittsburgh, you look at it objectively and say, I think they're a 9, maybe most 10-win season, and I get called, all these terrible things. It's amazing. But I do like the hat, Romy. And I don't even know if you were referring to me, just to be clear. You never know. Romy's cool. The law's so serious, Sarah, celebrating 3-month channel membership.
You feel guilty there. You're feeling guilty. Okay. She didn't reference you.
You think that's what it is, huh?
Yeah. Okay. Bobby, guilty's not the right word. There's nothing to feel guilty about, but you definitely took that personally. Bobby, who are your projected division winners? Pittsburgh would have to play one of those in the wild card game.
Who are your projected division winners? Pittsburgh would have to play. All right, let's just do this real quick. I'm just gonna, because I haven't done those predictions.
Bills, Ravens.
All right, let's see. Yeah, I mean, obviously Buffalo's taking the AFC East. I think it'll be between Denver and Kansas City for the West. I'm not willing to just give it to Kansas City yet.
What?
Denver's going to be a problem. I like Denver a lot.
I think Denver's going to be good, but Kansas City's not going to win the division?
I like Denver a lot.
Dude.
That's probably a hot take to say that Kansas City's not winning it, but I'm at least.
Do we want to reel that back a little bit?
Well, as I'm looking at it for real for the first time in real time, I think it's going to be between Denver and Kansas City. It would not surprise me. It would not. How about this? It would not surprise me if the Broncos take this division for the first time in however many years. Bro. So I'm going with that, but not necessarily saying that I would predict it, but I could see it happening.
Okay.
Ravens are taking the North, and the South. It's probably guaranteed to be Houston. Okay. So with that in mind, going back to Law So Serious, I could absolutely see Pittsburgh beating Houston in the postseason, and I could see Pittsburgh beating Denver in the postseason because of lack of experience, even though Sean Payton's a Super Bowl winner. Bo Nix is not a Super Bowl winner. Aaron Rodgers is. These guys understand what it means to play in January. So I don't think it's all that crazy to suggest that the Steelers could win a wild card game this year. Which is why I said what I said earlier.
You got so many hot takes today. I don't even know what to do with all of them.
Steelers
are winning playoff games. Kansas City's losing the division.
Well, it's suggesting that I could see a scenario. Both things. Right? It is.
Yeah, we could see a scenario where, the Bengals could win the division, but we're making predictions.
But give me realistic scenarios.
You always squirm and you just make a prediction.
Give me realistic.
We can see a lot of things happening.
I hate.
So you don't think it's a realistic scenario that you couldn't see somebody else winning the division in you know what I mean? Like, you can see anything.
But what's realistic? I think it's realistic that Cincinnati could potentially win the AFC North. I do. I don't think that's
unrealistic. That's what I'm saying. So, but that's not what you're predicting. You didn't put it out there.
No, I'm not predicting it. I feel confident in that. I don't feel confident that Denver is absolutely making me want to stand on a table with all 10 of my toes and say they're going to beat the Chiefs this year in that division. They're taking that division. But I think it's realistic, seeing what they've done in a short time with Bo Nix and Sean Payton at the helm, to think that they could potentially surprise a lot of people and win that division.
All right, sir.
Olu for you.
Olu says, countdown to 53. Big woof.
This is cracking me up. We are so off the rails right now with Super Chats. We have got to get back to the content.
I blame in a good way Pete. Pete started this whole thing.
That is so true. That was one of those ones where we literally should have been like, hey, Pete, let's bring this to one more thing. Because we're about to go off on the rails.
Do you want to revisit it? Because I did find when I was doing emojis and stuff, I did find a functionality where I can, in the live chat, click on a name and look at all of their chats. And so I would like to do that by the end of the show. And maybe he already gave us more context that we've just missed in the process of the show.
That's actually kind of cool.
Yeah.
That's kind of a cool feature. I like that.
I just gotta remember where I saw that over the weekend. But let's keep going for now.
Have I mentioned that I'm squirming over here because I want to take something like a knife to my wrists right now with poison ivy?
Don't say it like that.
It is driving me nuts. So if I'm squirmy today, guys, that's the reason why.
Yeah.
Douglas H. Brown Sr. says, Bobby, I will drive with you to St. Pete. I appreciate that, DHB. Where am I picking you up? Remind me where you're at.
That's
it's
awesome.
Pete06, Sarah, with another super chat following up on his previous, which again, if you're just tuning in, It's Pete06 had a situationship go south the other day. I'll let you take this one.
This makes me sad. He says, I have low self-esteem, so I would vent to her and degrade myself. And she told me a few times she didn't like that. So I think it's both faults, maybe.
Interesting. So there's a little bit of a bigger issue happening here.
Yeah.
I have low self-esteem, so I would vent to her and degrade myself. And she told me a few times she didn't like that. Didn't like it because, all right, here's the only follow-up I have, and then we really got to go, Pete, and we can revisit this if we'd like for a couple minutes after, once we finish the content.
Yeah.
Would she not like the fact that you were degrading yourself, meaning she thinks more highly of you than that and wants to build you up? Or she didn't like the fact that you were just venting to her, to go back to what we discussed in the first super chat?
Well,
Which
I think
one was it?
He said I would vent to her and degrade myself. So I think he's like venting about maybe how he's not feeling very good about himself. That's the way I'm taking this.
Well, right. But from her perspective, though, as somebody that he cared for.
Yeah.
Did she not like it because she thinks better of him and wants him to feel that way about himself? Or is the fact that he's been bringing it up as a way of venting and she can't take the venting? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Maybe it's a little bit of both.
So,
yeah.
Anyway,
it is tough. It's a lot of weighty responsibility and I'll just say this, Pete, for just like in general, there's a lot of weight and responsibility with people who are down on themselves. And so like, if you're truly down, it's probably like maybe go seek more professional help if it's like that deep. You know what I mean? Because it can be like all friends want to help each other, right? But it might hit a certain point that it's like, man, he's so down on himself. I don't even know what to do. And I hate this for him and I hate this for us. You know what I mean? So, yeah.
I do. Thanks for sharing with us, Pete. We hope you're hanging in there, and maybe we'll get to a few more later on. Sam says, so who was number 1 overall in the fantasy draft? I'll let Evan or Lewis or anybody else share that with Sam from last night's inaugural Voltron fantasy draft. Pete also says she also has a little history of using me.
No, I don't like that.
So we're getting more context on what went south and why things went south in this situationship. Yeah. Edwin, Sarah, celebrating 1 month of channel membership.
Similar to Madden, is there a Hard Knocks curse? Bills down year loading. Oh.
Is there a Hard Knocks curse? Does that mean that the Bills are on this year's Hard Knocks, Sarah? Because last year was the AFC North special. What does he mean by this? Like, I actually, and if I missed what this year's Hard Knocks is and what team it is, can somebody help me out?
It does look like it's Buffalo.
Oh, I must have missed that.
New season, August. What are they? Okay. Is it currently going? Because the ad I'm seeing started in August 5th.
Okay. Well, everybody's confirming that it is indeed the Bills.
It's the Bills.
You just did, so there you have it. We'll see, Edwin. Deshaun says, y'all leave Bobby alone. I got the Broncos as a dark horse for the AFC West as well.
Ooh, you got Deshaun with you.
All right, Deshaun. DHP Senior says, Bobby, I can meet you in Greensboro.
What's funny is I legitimately think Douglas would drive down to Florida with you.
I think he probably would too, and that way we can go through all of our sponsorship meetings just in the car. You know, I owe you a call, DHP Senior. So thank you for the reminder on that. Olu says, Bobby, Sarah got my last name right yesterday with a heart.
Oh, he gave me a pronunciation guide.
Okay.
Have I sent that? Obviously, I have not. I got it right here.
Hit me.
I'm going to mess it up. Ogunyemi.
Ogunyemi.
Yep.
Ogunyemi. Olu Ogunyemi. Awesome. Appreciate you, Olu. And thanks for the pronunciation, Sarah.
Here, I'm going to text this to you right now.
Yeah,
we are off the rails, and we have so much more content to get to.
We are. We definitely are. Nuno Truz Drago. Nuno. Let's go with Nuno. I agree with Bobby on Denver, but Rodgers in the playoffs? Nah. Is not in Green Bay or the NFC. You're right. NFC would be a lot, quote unquote, easier but he's got still more left to prove, I think. JCT Slice, Sarah, this one's for you. This is a follow-up from earlier.
Yeah, he said, Sarah, ripping as in going off on a bad take. Oh, of like a Nick Wright, i.e. the fire in the eyes. Okay, okay, now I know what he's talking about. As in when you get so mad
The
that
second part of
lasers
it.
yeah. As in you get so mad that lasers come out. Bobby giving the preach nods.
That's good. That's a great visual right there.
That's good
Appreciate the
visual.
follow-up.
Yeah.
Richard says, don't go chasing another woman after this. Take a year off from dating. This is for Pete. Find your purpose, work out, focus on yourself. Men with purpose are the most attractive.
I'm telling you, as a woman, that's for sure true. And I don't know, maybe you can say what men to women, because sometimes like men are attracted to like the damsel in distress type thing, but maybe other men are attracted to confident women. But for me, I'm definitely attracted to strength. And so I honestly, with Osmodeus, I feel like working out changes so much. It just like brings so much clarity. Oh, I thought we were about to have a meatloaf situation here. But I honestly do. I think even if it's like the most basic, just walking, in the morning before like most people are up, just like all of that can lift spirits so high. So I completely agree with Osmodeus here.
Interesting. All right, Richard. That's for Pete. I like that word a lot. Purpose. And hopefully Pete finds all that and more in the aftermath of the situationship going south on him. And one more before we get back to the football content. D. Rod writes, not football related. By the way, it's an orange banner, 1999. Not football related, but my son, who Bobby first met on his live, yes, I did. The little baby who was dead asleep in his car seat, just started kindergarten and is playing his first sport as well, which means it's got to be a fall sport, right? So is it football, soccer? What are we doing? Best feeling in the world. D-Rod, you're a proud father. You're a great father from what I understand. And congratulations on your boy getting ready for kindergarten. That's awesome.
That is so awesome.
And I'm afraid if we don't shift back to the content, Sarah, even though we got 2 more super chats that just came in.
Let's just do it quick because it's on. Let's just do these 2 real quick. No more after these 2. Dre Dogs are the last because one of them's about Pete.
For you.
While we're mentioning pronunciations, we got to help Sarah with. Oh, have I been saying Cheeto Bay wrong?
Well, look, I don't even touch it because he refers to himself as Cheeto.
So you just say
Cheeto Awuzie is how I go off it based on how he has asked folks to refer to him as. Yeah. So I don't even know I don't even know. Don't even know. But Law So Serious, if you could hit us with the
yeah, give me a pronunciation guide here.
Yeah, the pronunciation guide on I don't know. We could do it quickly, I guess.
No, you look that up and I'll go to Dre Dog real quick. So we're multitasking and moving this along. Dre Dog says, Pete, hit me up 1 free hour long life coaching session, bro. Yeah, Dre Dog.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, Dre Dog's like a professional. We're not professionals.
That's cool. Pete. Yeah. Dre is obviously comes highly recommended, especially because of his familiarity with the show. Law So Serious. What the internet says, I don't think Sarah's been off on this. Cheeto Bay.
Yeah, I thought I had that. I get a lot of names wrong, but I thought I had that one right.
Cheeto Bay. So, and then it's Awuzie. So, anyway, thank you guys for being with us today. 60 minutes in, and we've barely talked football, so we are going to pivot right now.
And what's funny is on days that we go off the rails, somehow the traffic just keeps climbing. We're at 2,500, which is the best we've had in a minute. So.
Yeah, people love. I guess people love lifestyle stuff, and maybe I'll save this for another time, and I'll just present it without context before we start talking football. But I just matched with a 52-year-old on Hinge who lives in St. Pete.
Wait, say that again. This is why I try not to watch the live chat too often, because
I knew what was happening. I didn't.
I'm looking at all the different pronunciations for Cheeto Bay, and so okay, I'm taking the live chat away from me. It's gone. Bobby, you have my attention, sir. Say that again.
Look at the chat.
I'm not looking at the chat.
Oh,
I told you before we came on that the last 2 days I haven't been looking at the live chat, and I was like, I actually go away feeling less scatterbrained because you're like talking, looking, or listening and looking. And so like the last 2 days, I really have just focused on super chats. Look what happens when I look at live chat. You'll know because I'm not listening very well.
Well, I tried. I knew it, and I wanted to get a reaction out of you, and then I put a little bit of zaza on that one.
I just had to own up to it and be like, dude, what did you say? I wasn't listening.
Well, first of all, Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift are engaged. That's some big news.
Oh, nice. I don't know why, but I'm happy for them. Listen, I know a lot of people don't. Obviously, Travis Kelce isn't our favorite in Baltimore. And then there's a lot of people that couldn't care less about Taylor Swift in the football world. But I'm happy for them.
I would think this pretty much.
Text a friend here.
Here it is. And the do not cares have already entered the chat, but here it is. All right. This is what just popped up on the timeline. You know, the NFL is going to have a good old time with this. But not a bad backdrop there for Mr. Kelce getting it done with Taylor Swift. And they have not been dating all that long. So they're moving pretty quickly.
Well, they're like well over. I feel like she's been at these games for years now, no? I feel like they've been going it almost 2 years.
You think it's been almost 2 already, huh? Man, maybe time flies.
I could be way off.
Anyway, that's that. And what I'll just briefly say again, without any context, and then we'll get into football and maybe revisit it. I just matched with a 52-year-old that lives in the St. Pete area.
What? Is that what I missed? Is that what I missed?
That's what made it so much fun. Yeah.
Wait. Okay, so obviously I've never dated online. That was I got married before online dating became a huge thing. I think it was just beginning. In order to match, don't you have to swipe a certain way where you say yes to them?
That's correct.
So you said yes to the 52-year-old.
I kid you not. Sometimes when you're on this app, you're moving through it in sort of busy mode because maybe it's something that you do when you're bored, like doom scrolling.
Yeah.
So I liked a photo without looking at her profile. And then she liked me back. I kid you not. She writes me back, Mary, her name is, and says, "Thank you," meaning for the like. It was taken near my house when I lived in Colorado. It was a photo of her hiking. That's good. Have you been to Colorado? So I'm like, what?
Matter of fact, I have a sister who lives in Colorado, I'm sure you said.
Correct. But I was like, wait a second. She's 52. All right.
So are you going to get together with her when you get down there? Like, even if it's for friendship?
To be very honest with everybody, I'm sort of just like having, like, I don't know how serious I am about, like, I'm not serious at all about ever dating a 52-year-old. I think everybody knows what I want in life.
Right. Right.
But at the same time,
unless she's got like a Elizabeth from the Bible kind of vibe going, she probably can't meet those goals for you.
Correct. Or maybe she wants to adopt. But like,
sure.
But how funny would the story be? Not like, I'll be respectful and whatnot to her, and I'll be like, hey, look, I'm probably not like looking for anything serious with this specific relationship. But if you want to go out and get like a coffee or something.
Well, like maybe you guys could be great friends and like she becomes like a mentor, like who knows? Or like another big sister.
I mean, she's kind of cute.
I kind of want to see her, but we'll do that. We don't want to do that live publicly. We can't blast her like that, right?
52 for the win. One time. No, yeah, you're right. No, we shouldn't do that. Okay. Anyway.
I was going to say that'd be like your third crazy statement today.
Coming to a one more
winning
thing.
A playoff game and Kansas City losing the AFC West, and now your 52-year-old match.
I'll just say this. Coming to a one more thing segment near you, Sarah, upon arrival in St. Pete. That's what's going on over here. There have been plenty of other matches, by the way, that I'm excited about in the St. Pete area that we haven't had a chance to talk about. And the girl that I met, I haven't never met her in person, But the girl that I FaceTime multiple times and matched with in New Orleans when I was there for the Super Bowl in Radio Row is visiting me next weekend in St. Pete. We'll get into all that in these days that come up.
Okay. Can we get back to football? I can't believe we just let it. I can't believe we just let it get that far off the rails. It is 1:14. We've done one topic. We always have 3+ quick hits. We got to start moving here. Okay. News and notes from yesterday. Okay. Number one, as we were doing the live stream yesterday, we got the news that Lamar Jackson did indeed return after his foot injury. WJZ got some B-roll, some video of him out there, and obviously he's not like running full speed or anything, but Bobby, he just looks normal to me. There's no hitch to his step. He's jogging right there a tiny bit, nothing big, but like it's just another piece of evidence, right, that he's okay. And it's just, I just can remember a few days ago the panic that was setting in as we were getting super chats and live chats of like, oh man, we could be screwed for the whole season. Is John Harbaugh lying to us? And so here he is looking completely fine.
Yeah.
So good news. Good news.
This is exactly what everybody wanted, right? After what was, like you said, the end of last week got a little noisy, got a little loud, but ultimately he was laughing for a reason, Sarah. One, he thought that Schefter was a little bit off base, right, with some of his speculation. And two, there was nothing to be upset about. Clearly, he's good to go. Ravens are too.
Yep. Meanwhile, here's who missed practice yesterday, and we got updates of when they will be back. Mark Andrews, Patrick Ricard. So I'm going to give the names first where they should be back by next week. Mark Andrews, Patrick Ricard, Jair Alexander, Chidobe Awuzie, or just Cheeto, Jake Hummel. And those are all guys that John Harbaugh said will be back next week. So for those that don't know, the Ravens are about to have a really long weekend. They're going to have a big, long break. I believe their last practice is Wednesday. They'll get Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday off. And then Monday, Labor Day, they'll be back. And that's when they begin their week 1 preparations for the Bills. So he's saying all those guys I just named are supposed to be back. Now, I do want to follow up a little bit on Jair Alexander, especially because he hasn't been to practice since August 9th. It is August 26th. So John Harbaugh was asked specifically about him. And he says, well, he's been working hard as far as all the non-football stuff. So he's still trying to, he's getting all the new defensive lingo and all that. He's been chomping at the bit. He's been trying to break out of quote unquote prison. He was talking about the Ravens training room. He says, yeah, it's a nice place. It's beautiful. But in his mind, it's a prison nonetheless. They're doing what they need to do to get him ready for that. But practice is important, and he's a veteran guy, and he wants to practice. So when he gets out there, I'm sure he'll be going at it. It'll be our job, too, to monitor that as well, to make sure that we do it right. It's a long season, and we want to bring him back the right way. And, Bobby, I just keep thinking back, and I know you've played it, Jair Alexander's dad feeling like his knee injury was mismanaged in the past by his former team. And so I think the Ravens are just trying to take an extremely cautious approach with him. Nonetheless, he does expect Jair Alexander to be back next week in order to prepare for the Bills.
Hey, and speaking of participation, attendance, so on and so forth, you mentioned that Jair, since August 9th, has not been at practice. At the end of last week, he was seen off to the side running, but it's not like an actual, attendance. Mm-mm. John Jenkins, the veteran nose tackle they brought in this offseason, Sarah, is not at today's practice, meaning at the start of today's practice that's available to the media. John Jenkins is not there. That is a new absence. No one knows if it's injury related or a potential cut ahead of 4:00. So that'll be something to look out for. What did you, off the top of your head, did you and Jason have him on the 53?
Both Jason and I had him on the 53. However, I said to Jason that I did actually flirt with the idea of giving him the same type of Brent Urban treatment because he's a vested veteran. I thought maybe they could do a handshake deal and he doesn't have to go on the waiver wire. And maybe he would go to the practice squad for a couple weeks and they could do call-ups. And then if there's more injuries after that, then those injuries can go on IR and then he could be called up. So I left that door open, although it's not what I predicted. So that when you announced that news, because I hadn't heard it, that's the first thing I thought of is could they be doing that?
Yeah, which
But
is
it could also be an injury. Who knows?
that's been a Brent Urban strategy the last couple of years, right? And given that he wanted to come back to Baltimore, you would think maybe that's already something that they've discussed. And maybe that's the case for this vet, to your point. And John Harbaugh talked about this whole waiver wire time of year. And he said, quote, I know that scouting and personnel department, meaning
meaning his
Eric
scouting
DeCosta's
department.
group.
Yep.
Eric DeCosta's group is scouring, but I would be hard pressed for me to think that we'd bring somebody in here that would be better than who we have, but never say never. And you never know what opportunity might present itself for sure.
So basically, John's like, we like our guys. I highly doubt we're going to sign somebody else after they get cut.
Right.
They're trying to listen, there was like nearly a riot when Jason and I didn't have Jay Higgins on the roster, right? Like we had 2 undrafted rookies, technically 3 if you count Corey Bullock from last year being an undrafted rookie. So we had technically 3. We couldn't find a way to get Jay. So there was like a riot. But the point being is like the Ravens, if they don't find a way to finagle things, they will be providing a nice talent pool for everybody else. And he's saying, listen, we're trying to figure out how to keep our guys, let alone go out and look at somebody else's. I mean, we'll be aware of them, but we feel like our guys are better.
And you got to wonder too, if last year's delay, Sarah, was there any kind of strategy involved in there in terms of guys maybe falling through the cracks of the waiver wire? I know you said it was an aberration based on what you felt like based on past years. But I got to wonder if like they truly think in their heart of hearts that some of these guys, the longer it's delayed in terms of the roster being released, could they become diamonds in the rough,
right?
Almost from a league standpoint. They know what they have in them, but from a league standpoint, I guess I just wonder what the strategy, if any at all, goes into that.
Yeah, that's a good question. I don't remember off the top of my head. Maybe there was some reasons for it that were told, but I'm not remembering off the top of my head last year.
Yeah. So anyway, thanks guys for being here.
Yeah, just a couple other notes here on the injury. Obviously, they're not giving any information on Isaiah Likely. Then the other guys that have been injured that we know that will either go on NFI or maybe IR, they're not there. They weren't there, but John Harbaugh announced 2 new injuries. Wide receiver Xavier Guillory, who broke his clavicle, and then Dayton Wade, who's going to have rib surgery. So both of them are going to be out for a while. I don't think that we're going to see them again, but that's too bad. They got injured in that preseason finale against the Commanders. So those are the practice updates that I have here. I'm trying to remember. Do we have anything else? I think that's all the updates from yesterday.
Okay. We might as well just add this in here as well that Amari Cooper, it's not division news like we could have incorporated it earlier on. He's had some time obviously spent in the division and in the AFC. But former Bills wide receiver Amari Cooper, he was one of the top free agent wide receivers that was available prior to this signing. He's going to Vegas where his career began. It's a 1-year deal. So Geno Smith has another pass catcher at his disposal for the Vegas Raiders.
Yeah. All right. Should we get into some national media commentary on the Ravens, specifically about Lamar Jackson?
Let's do it.
Okay. So they were having a conversation on First Take. We've got Ryan Clark, Dan Orlovsky, and Stephen A. Smith. And this segment happened yesterday morning before Lamar Jackson was seen back at practice. So they are originally talking about whether the injury will have an impact. None of them really thought it was serious. So Ryan Clark decides to kind of change the topic a little bit and admitted that they will be treating Lamar Jackson unfairly this season. Then Stephen A. Smith's pushed back and says, but is it unfair? So I want to talk about what we think on the other side.
We will probably get to with Lamar Jackson when it comes to regular seasons is going to be unfair.
It already is.
We are going to ignore the level of greatness we see. We are seeing something that's once in a lifetime. You talked about the gauntlet they'll face in 5 of the 6 first weeks of the season. And if they go 6-0, and if Lamar Jackson is off to an MVP trajectory, we'll come on here and talk about it. And then at some point we'll say, but we have to see what he does in the playoffs. And I think it's unfair, but it's where we are with his greatness, because we know what it looks like week 1 through 18. What will it be?
Then it's not unfair.
I hope.
Then it's not unfair. Then it's not unfair. There's nothing
No,
wrong.
it is.
Listen,
It is, Stephen. It is.
Hold on, wait a minute. If you're great and it's universally recognized that you're great, then you want validation. It's the only thing that's left. And in the world of sports, it comes via the postseason. What we're saying is, whatever it is that you do en route to those big moments, you do in the big moments. Not better,
Sure.
not worse. You just do what you do. That's all.
Yeah, I mean,
There's nothing wrong with
but
that.
it's fair. But I just feel like we can't live in the moment with him anymore, right? Like with Joe Burrow, because he beat Patrick Mahomes in the AFC Championship, and he's going. I'm working to do so. Because I just feel like even in last year, we rode that moment all the way to the playoffs, and you're almost begging for him to win because you know what the conversation is going to be. The conversation is never going to be about how the Baltimore Ravens failed. It's going to be about how Lamar Jackson didn't succeed.
But what I'm saying to you, Ryan, is listen to what you said. You're working to get there. This is something that's your natural disposition. But when it comes to Lamar Jackson, you have to work to get there, because you know in your heart of hearts, when you're that great, all we're waiting for is closure.
Yeah.
Close the deal. Be that dude. That's it.
Okay. I think that they are talking about two different things. Stephen A. Smith is saying it's fair, because remember, Ryan Clark said we're going to ignore his level of greatness. That is unfair. He said we can't live in the moment with him anymore. Why not? I can. If you choose not to, fine. But that's why last year I wouldn't let up with the MVP conversation. You're not going to do this to Lamar Jackson. They did it anyway, but I put up a fight. And it's not unique to just Lamar, right? Like there's fatigue with LeBron James. There was fatigue with there are a lot of people are always predicting the demise of Patrick Mahomes and all that kind of stuff. And people get tired of greatness after a while. And so they do start to ignore it. But it is unfair to ignore greatness. I will live in the moment with Lamar Jackson. If they talked about in that segment, like he said earlier, he's like, the Ravens could come out 5-0 after playing all those playoff teams. And he's like, it won't matter. It's going to matter to me. It's going to matter to the seeding. And you better believe I'll be touting Lamar Jackson if he leads the Ravens to a 5-0 start to all these playoff teams from last year. So if you choose not to do that and you want to ignore it, yeah, I think that's unfair. What Stephen A. Smith is talking about is he's saying it's fair to say that his regular season performances match his postseason performances. That's a fair critique. Lamar Jackson wants to see the same thing. Okay, that's fine. Critique it. Does that mean that I can't enjoy the season? I can't celebrate if the Ravens were going to go 5-0 against all these playoff teams from 2024? Nah, I'm going to live in that moment. You better believe I'm going to live in that moment. And then at the end, Ryan Clark says, if the Ravens fail, that's not what people are going to say. They're going to say Lamar Jackson didn't succeed. And so you can't have it both ways. You can't one year say, oh, we're not giving Lamar Jackson the MVP because he had help around him. And so when they succeed, it's like, not giving him MVP. Sorry, too good of a team. But then they fail and it's all Lamar Jackson's fault. Like either give him the MVP and then blame everything on him, or don't blame everything on him and give him his MVP anyway. Like you can't have it both ways. Is it unfair? Absolutely. And should they change it? They should. Fine. Critique him. Say, I want you to meet the moment in the playoffs. That's fair. But I'm not ignoring the rest. I'm enjoying the rest.
All the great ones have unfortunately undergone this kind of treatment. It's a terrible display of where I think national sports media conversation is right now and has been for years. LeBron has endured this, Sarah. Nikola Jokic has endured this. Patrick Mahomes has endured this. Lamar is now enduring this. And those are just 4 players that come off the top of my head right away. And so it is extremely unfair. It's demeaning, and it downplays the greatness, even though they think they're uplifting his greatness. I think they truly believe that segment is uplifting to his overall greatness and body of work. Right. When it's the exact opposite, if you ask me. It's a terrible recycled piece of sports media content that demeans the player and the significance of what he's accomplished through 7 years. And so I don't make much of it, to be honest with you.
Well, it's interesting because you're saying like it's like a way to demean, even though they're pretending, they're doing well. So it's interesting. The Ravens have been chosen by many people to win the Super Bowl. I believe they are the favorites right now in many betting markets. And so, but there's something about because of the segment we just watched. There's another segment where everybody has to give a bold prediction. And only Ryan Clark did it at first, and they were just picking apart his bold prediction. So he's like, okay, you guys give your bold predictions. So that's where this clip starts. And here's Dan's bold prediction about the Ravens.
This segment become tear down Ryan's bold prediction. Yeah, I thought everybody was supposed to make
where are the bold predictions? I'm waiting for bold predictions.
Like everybody else just talking about my bold prediction.
Exactly.
My bold prediction
Stephen A. Smith, where's your bold prediction?
Yeah.
My bold prediction was
what?
The Ravens will win the Super Bowl. That's a good prediction.
That's kind of bold.
I
said
agree
that
with
last year. It was bold last year when I said this year they're the favorites. Guys, they're the favorites.
I agree with
Ravens colors?
First of all, time out. They're the favorites, and that's your bold prediction that the favorites are going to win the Super Bowl?
But they're also notoriously coming up short in the postseason.
And I don't think they will this season.
Yeah. So, like, just because of the segment we just had, that doesn't feel like a compliment, right? It's like, I expect you to win the Super Bowl, and if you don't, I'm going to ignore everything else. I think the Ravens are obviously Super Bowl contenders for sure. I think that's kind of undeniable, and I hope that their predictions are true. But you better watch out if the Ravens don't actually win it, because they're going to be relentless.
When they've been essentially 1 or 2 plays away, you could argue, maybe a couple plays away from playing in that game, I don't know why that would be bold. Yes, they've been like, it's just not a bold thing for Dan to say. I agree with Molly. They've been literally.
To him, it's bold because they've been talking about the Ravens, quote unquote. Yes. Yeah.
He's focusing on the shortcomings, which is fair, but not bold. They've literally been a handful. You could probably argue a handful of plays away from playing in the game. In 2024, it would have been.
Yeah.
So I just don't find that to be very bold at all. Right?
Obviously it's not. Like I said, a lot of people are predicting the Ravens to win the Super Bowl. We just saw Chris in the first segment predict it. Yeah. A lot of people are doing it. So no, it's definitely not bold. It's bold to Dan because of how hard they've been on Lamar and the Ravens for not winning the Super Bowl in the past.
Yep.
So to them, they're like, because every time, what are the segments they always have? Who's under the most pressure? Oh, it's Lamar Jackson, the Ravens. It's like, because they have to win one. Well, so does Josh Allen, and so does Joe Burrow and some of the other top quarterbacks around the league. And so, but to them, they keep using the Ravens coming up short as a reason to say that they won't do it again, or it's a reason to rank Lamar below Joe Burrow, for example. But it's like, to me, what I don't understand, how they don't see what's staring them in the face, is that like Josh Allen has put up his best fights against Mahomes and has still come up short. Doesn't it say something to you that the Ravens haven't come close to playing their best game, and so their ceiling is so much higher? Like, I feel like the ceiling for the Ravens is so much higher than Josh Allen and the Bills. The ceiling for the Ravens is so much higher than Joe Burrow and the Bengals. And so, like, that's the reason why you should believe in them. and not believe in the other guys. Joe Burrow, yes, did break through several years ago, but has been absent from the playoffs the last 2 years. And Josh Allen is like playing his heart out to the best of his ability and is still coming up short. Just watch when Lamar Jackson and the Ravens play up to their ability. I think it's going to be, their ceiling is just going to shatter compared to the Bills.
Time will tell.
Time will tell.
Time will tell. The rematch coming up, September 7th. Man, it is so close. 10-day countdown is close to being on. It's the rematch of the divisional round. Ravens and Bills in Buffalo. And Sarah and I get to commence our in-season, regularly scheduled program, which we're really excited about. And we should probably let everybody know too, Sarah, what our plans are for Labor Day weekend while we're here. And it's essentially just, hey, we're going to take our really last couple days leading into this grind of a year. So Friday and Monday, we're going dark. We're getting ourselves right. I'm going to get down to St. Pete.
You're getting down to St. Pete. You're not getting any rest. You're doing a move. Moves are exhausting.
It's going to be a lot.
You need the time.
This weekend's going to be a lot. On Friday at 5 a.m., I hit the road. The Broncos jam-packed. Tilly's going to be in there. I got a dentist appointment in Baltimore. I have a Broncos service appointment in Baltimore, and I'm crashing in Baltimore at least one night starting on Friday. So it will be nice to be back in town for a day or two, but then the real grind begins, probably 16, 17, 18 hours down to the St. Pete area to officially kind of kickstart my nomadic fall, if you will. So that's what's going on. It's fully furnished. So 1MA, I don't even need a moving company. I'm coming down with as much as my car can fit and going to try something different this fall and still get back to Baltimore, hopefully at least once or twice throughout the season. So that's my plan. And that's our plan, Sarah, programming wise over the next week or so.
Yeah, absolutely. It's going to be, the NFL season will begin and we will be working through all the holidays for as small as like Halloween, Thanksgiving, Christmas, although there's no Christmas Day game this year. So that's good. We'll have some relief there, but like New Year's, all of it, there's no rest for the weary. So I like that you'll be able to at least get situated. I was going to say get rest. I'll get rest. I'll get a breather. You will get situated in St. Pete, and maybe you'll link up with your 52-year-old match.
Why do I feel like we're going to be?
I'm kind of hoping you and her become like really good friends.
Why do I feel like this is not the last time we're going to be speaking on this at all? You know?
I really want you to meet her. Just be upfront from the beginning. Just be upfront from the beginning. Hey, I don't know that we're gonna like have anything romantic, but I'd love to meet you.
Who says that nobody wants a romantic? I'm just getting down there. Come on,
wait. 52 for me is like fine. It's 7 years away, probably like 6.5. What's it for you now? You're 31.
Correct. 21 year.
21 year gap. Okay, big guy.
For those that are just tuning in, I threw out a statement without context probably about 20 minutes ago now. The live chat had a fit, Sarah. I don't know if you noticed, but like we were halfway through.
I had to turn the live chat off so I could focus on what you were saying.
The topic that we just finished, we were halfway through it, and it was still on nothing related to what we were talking about because we sent him into that much of a tizzy. But I matched with a 52-year-old Floridian resident. So on Hinge. So we'll see what comes of that, if anything. You guys will be updated accordingly throughout. Should we get to some super chats? Because I think a lot of them we will be addressing what we just discussed.
Yeah.
Let's see what's going on in here. If we dare.
Now I'm looking at the chat. This
is going to get good. All right. Let's see what's happening here. We left off with Dre Dog. We picked things back up with DHB Senior. And he says, what's up with that, Bobby? Old people deserve love too. Now, Douglas, don't you have her by about 20 years? My new match. I want to say he's around 70.
And it's Bobby who seems more open to it than even me. So,
Going down with an open mind. Wildlife Wale says Bobby's out here cougar hunting.
Wait, she's the one who would be cougar hunting, not you.
Well,
Isn't cougar hunting dating somebody super younger than you?
wouldn't it go both ways though?
Oh, wait, you're hunting for the cougars.
Yeah.
Okay, I got you. I'm
Yeah.
so out of the dating
Why?
scene.
Wildlife is celebrating 4 months of channel membership, Sarah, and used his membership super chat month to say that, which I find hilarious. Richard writes, Bobby's pulling a Derek Wolf hunting for cougars, former defensive end in Baltimore. And Maggie Liz, Sarah, this one's for you. Oh, dear Lord.
What
Man, I
happened?
want to touch this one. Oh, goodness gracious. Okay. So, Maggie, let's see how we can hop around this one to keep it.
I literally just saw Maggie a minute ago say, Sarah, don't read mine. So I guess this is what she's referring to.
Okay. All right. So Maggie says, and you steer me here on how we should read this, but Maggie says, hey, Bobby, I'm working on a book called How to, we'll get to it in a second to come up with the word, over 50. So go for it and PM me your stories. So
wait, is this real? You're really working on this book, Maggie?
Interesting. Audio only. How can we help out the audio side of things here? How to, I don't know if I want to use the E word, Sarah, if that's too much, but is that the word that we want to use for the audio folks, or they can just come to YouTube and figure it out themselves? Thanks, Maggie. Good luck with the book. I'll help you out any way I can.
Just enjoy things after 50.
Pete says, Bobby, I put my situation in Discord. Sorry, I'm not laughing at you, Pete. I'm laughing.
We were laughing at the last situation.
Climax. Thank you, live chat. Thank you. It's Pete says, Bobby, I put my situation in Discord. We will look on that for sure. Just for timing purposes, Pete, going to keep it moving. I'll try to interact with you in there after the show. Ginger Seamus says, the meatloaf with 3 exclamation points. I think
Ginger's trying to get you to say it, but we have to reserve that for Magenta.
We do.
Yeah. Or else your voice would go out.
Correct.
Yeah.
The real guy, Anise. The real guy, Anise Truth. For you, sir.
52-year-old? The superstation in me thinks if you date her, the Ravens win a ring. Ray Lewis spirit. Yeah.
Gotta see when she turns 53 though.
Yeah, because that could be a problem.
Oh my gosh, that's great. I like his profile photo too, putting on a green. Man, what a show today, huh? Goodness gracious. Eileen Nolan and Myron McIntosh. Every time I say his name, I love it. Myron McIntosh and Eileen Nolan, thank you both for believing in what we're building. This is your monthly shout out because of the support that you give us through Patreon. Patreon.com/RavensVault podcast is where you can go if you'd like to learn more and get more involved with the channel for days like this. So thank you to Eileen. Thank you to Myron. What are you laughing at?
That super chat said my superstation, but I think it was my superstition.
Super. Yeah, probably.
Yeah. Probably. My superstition. Yeah. I was like, what is this superstation stuff?
Oh, take the one and only quick hit because we've already given quick hits. It was just out of order.
We're like totally out of order. At Billy M_91 put out the 2025 preseason rookie edge win rates. Mike Green coming in at number 2. Pretty close to number 1. Mike Green had a win rate of 29.7% during the preseason. That's nice. Elijah Roberts is the one that beat him from the Tampa Bay Bucks.
Beast.
All right, Mike.
Yeah, he put on, man. He put on this preseason. I can't wait to see what he does and how they use him 10 days from now. So let's see. One more super chat came in. It's D-Row0014 celebrating 3 months of channel membership. And the fun continues. Bobby Irwin out here hunting cougars.
Is that the Irwin, the Australian outdoors guy?
Oh, yeah, you know it. Robert, right? Robert Irwin.
Irwin. Steve.
Excuse me.
So now you have to say that in a Australian accent.
Ooh.
Out here.
Steve.
Out here. Hunt. Yeah, I'm not going to get it right. I got to work on an Australian accent.
This is so good. This is really something today. I'm getting a good kick out of this. Good kick
I
out
like
of
how
you.
you're like feeding the flames too, where I'm like, hey, you guys could be friends. And you're like, why are we only friends?
You want to know why I
both
said
know.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
By the way, just sorry. I got
Yeah,
caught
go ahead.
reading over here too. Robert's his son. So,
Yeah.
the late Steve Irwin, his son Robert. But yeah, back to the back to this whole conversation. I mean, I think it's hilarious how the first thing you said, one of the first things you hoped for was like, I think like maybe she can become a mentor to you. Like maybe you can become friends with her.
Why not though?
That would be hilarious.
Like, I legitimately want you guys to be friends. They're saying we missed a super chat. What did we miss?
I saw Mike's comment, but it's not populating for us, unfortunately, Mike. So
what's up with that? Yeah, I don't think we missed anything. Not that showing on our end. What's funny is like I did one time because somebody else said that we were missing a live chat, and I remember going back and rewatching the show, and I watched it from YouTube. Obviously, we're looking at everything through StreamYard, and I did see it in the live chat, but we didn't make it through to StreamYard, and I don't know why that happens.
I don't know either, but
wait, what are you laughing at? Are you reading the chat again?
Trey Dog.
What did he do?
It's just funny, man. This whole thing is getting dirty. I didn't mean for that to happen at all, but I gotta know that's how it goes. It's like the life of Bill Belichick and what's her face, Jordan Hudson.
Oh yeah.
And just to clarify, we got to go at 1, but 2, just to clarify, like there's some really fun potential, Sarah, that I've matched with that I'm excited about. I mean, I think there's the St. Pete area, at least on Hinge, seems like it's vibrant. I mean, you got some good candidates here. What are you laughing at now?
Just the chat. I do enjoy the end of the show. I can focus more on the chat. I don't know why a mentor is so funny, to be honest.
Cracks me up.
Which maybe she's a like a dating mentor.
I think it's
unless she's never been in a relationship. I mean, maybe she's like.
Oh no. She's been in a relationship.
Okay, I figured.
I'll give you a couple tidbits before we bounce.
Okay. Is she divorced or did she lose somebody?
That I don't know, but clearly somebody used to be in her life, because what you can do, Sarah, is scroll over to the profile account or to the detail. I'm not showing anything that's whatever.
Don't do that.
It checks off what she wants, doesn't want, has, doesn't have. And so this one is has children, doesn't want children. Obviously, she's 52 years old.
Right.
So,
and do you have children are you pretty clear that you want children in your details?
And in mine, I have want children, don't have children. So
and yet you've matched.
I was going to say, like, this is the classic, like, as she even looked at my profile, did I look at hers when I liked it? Clearly not. Not.
Right.
But yeah, Mary looks like, Mary and Bobby.
Can you, just while we're here, so I can
Bobby
have a live reaction.
Mary and Bobby.
Can you screenshot and text me her profile picture? My co-coach in basketball is listening right now. He just sent me a text that said, "Crikey, mate."
Oh, yeah.
He's watching.
Love it. All right, let me send you.
Yeah, send it to me. I got to see this. I want to see what it was.
Nice job on the Australian accent there too, by the way.
Crikey, mate seems like an easy one to do.
All right, couple screenshots coming your way. It's important to note that at the time of the like that I sent, I was bloodshot, red-eyed, coming back from Tahoe.
Okay.
Not that that matters, but just to throw that out there.
Okay.
Here come 2 photos en route to you, and we're all highly anticipating your reaction.
Okay, she's clearly fit, which I know is important to you. And this pink shirt, so she's all blonde. And then she's got this cute pink dress on. She's definitely cute and fit. And
she also looks 52.
And she looks 52.
Oh, goodness.
How old are her kids? Does she have kids? Did you say she has kids?
It says it on the profile, but nobody's featured.
I'm just wondering if her kids are like around
my age.
Around your age.
She's probably a little bit younger than me, right?
Yeah.
I would think. So that is one of the matches that I'm chatting back and forth with right now. That's St. Pete based as I get ready for my Florida move over the next 8 months. For those of you that haven't been following along, I signed an 8-month lease through Furnished Finder. It's a short-term lease. The real guy says that Florida man Bobby has already begun.
This honestly should provide. I don't know how long you plan on living in Florida. Maybe it'll just be a year or 6 months or whatever your lease is. But I do feel like this is going to provide laughs and entertainment for months to come.
I think so too, because you know me pretty well, I think, at this point.
Yeah.
And you know darn well that I'm willing to go on this date and talk about it to you and on this program.
Oh, we know.
Yeah.
And I'm here for it.
And I'm going to do it.
Just hopefully we do it more at the end of the show rather than
only
after topic 1.
Matter of fact, today was probably one of those examples of, with the season now on the horizon, probably won't happen in the middle of a show for the next 6 months. But it'll be fun on Fridays, maybe occasionally, to do one more things and just kind of update everybody on what's been going on. And when we see fit, there's always time. But Sundays, Mondays, Tuesdays, probably going to be tough to Wednesdays or press conferences. I mean, we know how it goes once it gets in season, you know?
Yeah.
But
yeah.
And just to be clear, everybody, out of sensitivity to the dating world, because it's harsh out there. It's hard. I'm going to be very clear with her prior to going on this date, if it happens, if there's still mutual interest, about my intentions.
Your intentions to find a mentor.
About my intentions. About my intentions to hit the ground running romantically when I get down to St. Pete. All right, just so we're clear on that. I know we're having fun with it and whatnot, but I am going to handle it with care. D-Rod says, Bobby Honey Pack, LMFAO. I have no idea what that means. Do you?
Why are you asking me? I'm the mentor girl.
Bobby Honey Pack. I have absolutely no idea. D-Rod, let me know. Let a guy know. All right, everybody. Live chat is absolutely off the rails. You guys were great today. Sorry for those of you that wanted an hour and 45 minutes of straight football. We unfortunately could not give that to you today. And we thank Pete for his ability to steer us in a direction that we had never been before when it comes to my interest in Cougars. No clue how where things might go moving forward with this segment, but that's where we are right now. And hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Keon Dadon says stepdaddy Bobby is coming into the picture with their children. And Sarah, I think before we do anything else, it's time to go, don't you think?
Well, I just want to know, is this just happened to be a day where we're close to 2,800 concurrents, close to 2,800. Is it just by chance that we're having a bigger day than we've had probably in the last couple weeks? Or is it that they're here for your dating stories?
Roster cut down day.
There's no roster cut downs.
I know.
And we don't even have that in our captions.
We don't. You're right.
No.
People are all right.
We're talking about AFC North. That's like our headlines about AFC North news.
I suppose it's I guess has everything to do with Bobby Bachelor.
Bobby Bachelor. It's must-see TV.
And that's Dot facilitating the conversation. Oh, man, you guys are funny. Fun time. And we all appreciate you guys for spending some time with us, in this case today, which was much more than just football. Like the video if you could on the way out. Subscribe to the channel. Hit that notification bell. As a reminder, 4 p.m. Eastern on weekdays, Sarah and I have repurposed short-form content that drops with you in what we call our best of playlist. Brendan's been doing a fantastic job editing for us behind the scenes, allowing us to take this channel to new levels. So thanks to Brendan. Thanks to all of you for consuming our content, whether it's live, after the fact, or again, our repurposed stuff. If you haven't already done so, we'd love for you to go check out thevaultpod.com/shop. It's where a lot of you have already hit the D-Rods and the Romies of the world who I've already updated their profile photos with their Vault gear. It's awesome to see. We appreciate it so much. Thevaultpod.com/shop. More information in the show notes below. We are approaching 600 channel Voltrons, channel members. That number obviously has taken a little bit of a downturn just because of renewals, I think, or lack thereof. So if you'd like to become a channel member, you can do so by pressing the join feature. So with that, partner, I think we're good to go, right?
Absolutely.
All right. Appreciate you as always. Thanks to all of you for spending some time with us. We will not be live on Friday and Monday. So have an awesome Labor Day weekend. We have plenty to chat about prior to that coming up on Wednesday and Thursday. And including tomorrow, we'll give you our reactions to the final 53-man roster that drops today at 4 p.m. Eastern. So for Sarah, I'm Bobby signing off from this Tuesday edition. Thanks for being with us. We'll catch up with you in well under 23 hours from now, if not before. And as always, Voltrons, thanks for spending some time with us here inside the vault. We'll talk to you soon.